Hey everybody, this is your host Chris G, and on tonight's episode of Blurred's Eye View, I'm interviewing Philadelphia's own Eric the Smoke Moran. Let's get it.
Hey everybody, I'm Eric the Smoke Moran. I'm a pro wrestler, actor, producer, writer, and cosplayer.
All right. So speaking of, since this documentary is about cosplaying, it's actually more about people of color and cosplaying and pop culture in general. So I'll start off. How long have you been cosplaying?
I've been cosplaying since before the concept of cosplay was even called. Before there was POCs or anything of the such. It was called costuming. But I was like doing, at that time they were calling it geekdom or you're a nerd or something like that back in the 70s and 80s. I was always the odd person standing out. But as time went on, it was more embraced. People tend to get the idea that, wow, there's something to this, something to costuming. And before you know it, cosplay became a household name. And I've been embracing it ever since.
Okay. So what initially attracted you to cosplaying?
Hold on, I'm sorry. Well, again, I've been cosplaying before the concept of cosplay was called. So what attracted me doing superhero costumes and the sort when I was growing up, I idolized superheroes. I idolized heroes like the Lone Ranger or Superman or Batman or Spider-Man. And growing up watching them, there was a moral code to them to want to do right, helping other people. I think that was one of the reasons why it encouraged me to become a United States Marine. And then after joining the Marine Corps and coming out of the Marine Corps, I ended up becoming a professional wrestler because to me, all these elements that I've chosen in my lifetime were characters of bigger than life, but they were influenced. They were within the community to inspire kids and also to have a moral kind of code to them. As a pro wrestler, I got to be a little bit of good guy and bad guy. And as I got older, as my mentality changed as far as the concept of hero, you know, there was no grays and there was no whites and blacks. It was only centers of gray. When I used to think that the Indians were the bad guys and the Cowboys were always the good guys, it was kind of reverse and the opposite as I got older. So as a pro wrestler, I ended up trying to walk that fine line between being good guy, bad guy, and let the fans decide. And I ended up becoming a more of a people that everyone liked, a character that everyone liked. And then I think that expressed it within my cosplays, from doing heroes to villains and vice versa, and those characters that walk that fine line.
Okay.
I think that's one of the whole reasons why, for me, why I love doing these characters as a cosplayer.
Okay. So, as you know, as I know, you're a cosplayer. I am myself as well. And being in the circle that we've always seen or faced criticism, or even seen others that we know being faced criticism. Have you faced any of that criticism as a cosplayer, like a certain character that is probably not a white person or a white person? And how have you faced that criticism? How have you dealt with that?
Well, one of the things that I try to express to people is that you cosplay whoever you want. In the past, I've been asked, hey, you know, you can cosplay Luke Cage. You should cosplay Barrett. You should cosplay the typical black characters. And what instead of me necessarily like there are African American characters or minority characters I love cosplaying, but I've also broken that stereotype also because I've cosplayed as Batman, I've cosplayed as Superman, I've cosplayed as characters that are normally of not the norm for African American cosplayers, and I've changed the mindset because I end up turning people's mindset around by saying, to me anyway, wow, dude, you do you do an awesome Batman, or you do an awesome Superman, or you got that, look for this kind of character that's normally taken as a Caucasian character, Latino character, or whatnot. I helped trying to change that mindset, that not you don't have to cosplay a character because of a specific color or gender or size or anything of that sort. You change that mindset, because preaching to them, physically preaching to them and telling them verbally is not going to get the point across. When they physically see you become that character, 9 times out of 10, the mentality dissipates. Then you're going to still have those people, those individuals who feel that they just need to say something negative just to say something negative. That's the kind of person that you have. As a cosplayer, you have to go in with the idea that people are not going to all like you. Not all people are going to embrace you. You're not going to be able to make everyone happy. You have to have a thick enough skin and be a mentally stable person, not to let that offend you, get the better of you, and not upset you. Because if you're going to be upset, if you're going to be feeling that way, then you shouldn't be cosplaying. That's the bottom. I mean, for me, because one of the things I can't stand when someone wants to say, oh, this person didn't like my cosplay because of my color of my skin, and they said this, that, and the other. And then all these people try to gather around like pitchforks and torches and all that stuff. And it doesn't solve anything. All it does is cause more of a problem. So what you do is you don't let people like that influence you for cosplay. As I said to one of the cosplayers I know, young lady I know, who's a cosplayer, they were like making comments about her cosplay. She did an outstanding cosplay for a lady of a plus size nature. And the thing I said to her was, let me ask you something. Do you cosplay for yourself or do you cosplay for everyone else? Because if you're cosplaying for everyone else, then you don't need to be cosplaying. If you're cosplaying for you, then you're on the right track. You're cosplaying for yourself. You're not going to care what anyone thinks. But it's unfortunate because there are a lot of minority cosplayers, in my viewpoint, that worry so much about what other people think, instead of letting them feel good about what they've done, what they wore, what they cosplay. And I think that's important. And again, I cosplay for a lot of different reasons. Mm-hmm. But again, I've been doing it for a long time. So my mentality is different. I have the way I was brought up, the way my mental structure is. I mean, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a person that has anxiety, who has anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress. I see a therapist, but cosplaying for me is therapy. Building costumes is therapy. Collaborating with other people is therapy. And again, you have to have strong aptitude to go into cosplay and not worry about what other people think. People are so over the top sensitive, especially when it comes to POCs, people of color, or people of color that cosplay, that they forget why they're cosplaying. Okay. They want all this noise and saying, look, this person hates my cosplay. Let's gang up on them. And I'm like, well, you're getting away from the idea of why you're cosplaying. Why are you cosplaying? You have to sometimes look in the mirror and ask yourself, why do you cosplay? Do you cosplay for the fame? Because there's no such thing as famous. Do you cosplay because it makes you feel good? Do you cosplay because of the fandom? Do you cosplay because you like bringing people together and inspiring people? Again, ask yourself that question when you look in the mirror and you cosplay a costume. Are you doing it because it's a fad and every other person is doing it, so you want to be in on the party? Or were you one of those people that made fun of those kind of people like myself coming up and then come into that mentality that, oh, wow, this person is getting all this recognition. This person's cool. I want to be down like that. So let me see what I can do to get in a costume. And I don't judge anyone if you buy a store-bought costume, you make it at home or whatever. Again, it's just knowing the fact that you cosplay for the right reasons and not for the wrong reasons.
Right. Okay. There's
I know it's a lot.
That's cool. I love it. There is a certain month. I'm one of the ones that I prefer to celebrate it all year, but there's a particular month that always comes up, and it's in February, which is during Black History Month, and it's been a hashtag. 28 days of Black cosplay, and as of this past year, it's been 365 days of Black cosplay. What does that mean for you? What does that mean to you? And for that,
how about decades and centuries of cosplay? It's every day for me. Like, 365 days, I'm one of those people that kind of started that too. Cosplay every day is not for a specific month. It's cool to celebrate our Black heritage and our impact in the cosplay community as African Americans or as minorities as a whole. I think, but then you go down a rabbit hole because you got people that are not minorities, Caucasian people that get offended easily, and they'll, oh, well, why can't it be 365 days of Caucasian cosplay? Those are the smart, in my view, those are the smart asses that just want to be cynical because, again, they want to feel that they're important. And what they don't realize is that as African Americans, as Latinos, as Asians, or any other minority, or even persons that are trans, gay, different sizes, this is our time to be able to express ourselves without being people being judgmental on us and being passed, like people passing judgment. And the problem is that of late, people are becoming more judgmental and they get in the way. So the whole idea of 28 days of Black cosplay, some people, I say for the most part, I say 80% of the populace supports that, in the cosplay community especially, they understand it. But then you got that low percentage that are lost in the sauce, that don't get it, and they probably never will. Those are probably the same people that can't understand when you put on makeup for certain characters, not every character, but for collective characters that you can easily cosplay regardless of what color you are. They don't understand. Well, all I did was darken my skin to be Black Lightning.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've known Caucasian people that have cosplayed Black Lightning and do an outstanding job by having to darken their skin. But you have those same people that are like, but you put on makeup for when you're turning to Hellboy and all. Well, okay, that's in reason because you're becoming a character that is based on primary colors, not skin tone, actual skin tone. If you call me an actual full red person, then we can talk about it. If you see a person that's all green, besides Incredible Hulk, that's in real life, that has total green skin, that has a race of green skin people, then we can talk about it. If you have a race of totally white, and I'm talking not beige or peach color, whatever you want to call it, but are blank white, I'm talking like white, paper white, and there's a whole bunch of people like that, then we can talk. But sometimes people want to find fault. They want to find a reason to say, well, this is the reason why. And I'm just kind of like shake my head like, usually common sense. It's called common sense. And that's the other thing, common sense in cosplay. That's what it comes down to, common sense in cosplay. But a lot of people don't like practicing that.
Yeah. So it's people like you. I've spoken to Night Mage. Me and him are really cool. Demetrius Hellspawn cosplay Ray.
Let me just say something on those two gentlemen in particular. Night Mage is one of my buddies as well.
Yeah.
Night Mage is the text. It is the textbook of what it means to cosplay, not just as an African American cosplayer, but just the cosplay in general. How to cosplay properly. He promotes positivity. He promotes, someone who works in law enforcement, he promotes positivity in a level that a lot of people can't keep up. His creativity, it goes without saying. It's out there. It's like
it is. It is.
For he and I, we laugh because I'm always like, God, but he's always, to me, he's an inspiration to me to say, okay, I'm gonna do this next. But it's all tongue in cheek. For me, it's fun. But he's an outstanding person. He's not perfect, but he's an outstanding person as what it means to set the bar as far as being a good cosplayer and a good person. He's the embodiment of that. With Hellspawn's the newer generation.
Yeah.
Very outspoken, but is willing to listen when it comes to the better himself as a cosplayer. He and I have had lots of talks, and I've mentored him on certain aspects in the cosplay as a cosplay world. And again, he's a hell of a cosplayer. He's got the attitude and confidence what you should take to be one of the high up in cosplay. Some people don't like him. Some people love him. But he's changing the narrative, and in a way where to make people wake up. The reason why I have a lot of respect for Hellspawn is because he's outspoken. He doesn't hold back, and he's someone that is learning and growing. And the most important thing is he embraces the idea of being a father, the idea of incorporating his son and having him be a part of
some cool shots he had. Yeah.
Right. And so I have so much respect for that because, again, me raising my daughter when I was his age and raising her within that realm, I couldn't embrace her in the cosplay world because by the time I started getting back into it, she was already on that high school.
Yeah.
Considered doing it from time to time, but I highly doubt it. But nonetheless, I admire that for Hellspawn because he puts his heart and soul into his cosplays. And he's going to go a long way. For people like Night Mage and myself that's been doing it for a long time, and we've gotten accolades in all different areas of the entertainment world as well as in the cosplay community, we need to see more of that from both sides, for both Hellspawn and for Night Mage. We need to see more people like that. And thank God there are a lot of great brothers and sisters out there that are like that. But when I always think of positive people within the cosplay community that really sets in a prime example. Night Mage is the first person that comes to my mind is Night Mage. And then, of course, like other people to follow. I like to think of myself in that realm. A lot of people have considered me in that realm, but I let the person judge for themselves. But I've always tried to set a good example and try to be the best I can. At the same time, be inspired by those people who are alongside with me for the ride, who is also in the cosplay realm. So I have, like I said, I have a large respect for a lot of people within the cosplay community, and as well as people of color for POCs that are bringing positivity, that's not bringing that negative vibe, that has confidence in themselves to inspire others and not bring a whole bunch of drama because they have an issue with someone that they don't like. So they want to find every little fault with them. That to me is bringing drama. You're not bringing something positive. You're bringing negativity. But again, that's how I look at it in the world of cosplay, because again, I've been doing it way before all these new jacks are coming on the scene saying, yeah, I wear a costume, so I'm a cosplayer.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Show me how you embrace cosplay. Show me how much you and why you love cosplay. What influenced you to cosplay? I know what influenced me. I can get into a long soliloquy about it. But again, I've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
So, again, with the concept of way before it was called cosplay.
Right.
I was that cat that everyone looked at weird, and they were like, oh, yeah, and I didn't care even then. Back then, I didn't even care. People that came up in high school, elementary school with me will tell you, oh, yeah, he's been like that since he was back in the day. He was always like that. That has never changed. And to this day, I still, at 50 years old, I don't apologize for it.
And there's nothing wrong with that. So, I know you normally help run J1 Con and the Great Philadelphia Con. So we are currently in this pandemic, this lockdown, which has pretty much put a halt to everything. Word just came out yesterday that San Diego Comic-Con has now been canceled, which is the first in its 50-year career. What does those two cons alone, explain those two cons, with your position in J1 and your position in the Great Philly Con, and what people can expect when they see you or any other POC cosplayers at these cons.
Well, we're going to talk about J1 Con. J1 Con, who is run by Jason Richardson. Jason and I go way back. Mm-hmm. I've always been in his corner when it comes to anything he does, and he's been in my corner. With J1 is one of the very first anime Comic-Cons here in Philadelphia. He expanded on that, and he's run shows also, not just out of Philly, but out in New Jersey as well, in Atlantic City. There are other companies that try to come in to try to take his spot or take his whatever you want to call it. And that's nothing, to me, people are going to be loyal to you no matter what. And no matter what obstacles they throw at J1 Con or Jason's overcome them. And that's one of the reasons why I believe in him and I support him. I have been a part of Jason's company for a long time. When it came to promoting his shows, we would do commercials for Cartoon Network. I was one of his first spokespersons. So almost every year I've done a commercial for J1Con. When you go to a J1Con, it's the world of anime, it's the world of pop culture, but it's that anime comes first without a question, where he covers everything within the anime community, from video games as well, to playing board games, to anything that's dealing with anime, the anime culture as a whole. J1Con is the embodiment of that, as well as bringing guests from anime voice actors and actresses to animators of those said anime shows and what have you. So it's a lot of fun. I mainly head up his cosplay contests. I host them. I don't judge, but I host them. And I bring some of the top cosplayers to help judge these contests. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And it's great for for anywhere. J1Con has turned from a one-day event to a two-day event. And who knows, it may be even a three-day event. Again, Jason has covered so much with J1, so I don't see it going anywhere. And with everything that's going on with J1, I mean, well, not J1, but the world today, if he has, better heads prevail, more likely, I say over the whole year, for all cons in general, I think everybody's going to have to take a backseat and wait till 2021. That's the unfortunate reality, because that's the way it's looking. I like to think and like to hope that maybe that will change, but I don't see that happening no time soon. As far as Great Philadelphia Comic Con, Christopher Wirtz is the owner. Again, a con that has been around for well over 5-6 years. Takes place in Oaks, Pennsylvania, right borderline in Philadelphia, King of Prussia. I'm the cosplay director for Great Philadelphia Comic Con. So with that being said, I basically help bring in the talent, cosplay talent, people in the cosplay community that bring a positive look to it. I also try to bring in local talent. You got your featured guests, your spotlighted guests. So I try to bring in all this talent within the cosplay realm and shining stars, rising stars within the cosplay realm. And so with that being said, within that realm, also, as far as that goes, we put some of them together, the most well-diverse cosplay lineups. I have been told this by many people within the cosplay community, how well they love the diversity within the cosplay lineup for Great Philadelphia Comic Con, because I bring in all walks of life, different age ranges, different sizes, shapes, colors, male and female, trans, disabled. I try to show the world, when people come to the show, to show the world what cosplay is really about. It's about unity. It's about something positive. When you go to these shows like Great Philadelphia Comic Con, like J1Con, and you see these great cosplayers from all different backgrounds, all different sizes and shapes and colors and everything else in between, it's showing a positive vibe on what the cosplay community is. And so people don't tend to lose sight about that.
Okay.
It's an education in itself. And then also, again, I host a cosplay contest there, panels. I don't host every panel there, but I host some of the panels. I also host some of the celebrity panels. I was also TV host for Heroes of Cosplay on the Sci-Fi Channel a couple years back. So again, and what makes it so unique, a lot of people say, well, when some of these people that break into cosplay, they want to break in because they're trying to make a name for themselves and all this stuff. And that's great. I was an actor, model, wrestler before I got back into cosplay. And that was the funny thing. I was going to Comic-Cons. I was appearing at Wizard World as a celebrity pro wrestling guest versus being a cosplaying guest. As time went on, when I eventually went on tour with Wizard World, and I was on tour with Wizard World, I think, for 2.5 years, I believe. That's when I became a full-on cosplay guest, with the understanding that I'm also a celebrity because
yeah,
and everything else. So
right.
And sometimes people forget that I'm like, yeah, I've done a little bit of everything. I'm not just a cosplayer, but because of the fact I love and I embrace the cosplay community hard, and I mean hard. I own over close to 300 cosplays, and it's just something that, again, man, I love a lot, and I can't tell you, this is the one thing that moves passionately more than anything.
Okay.
Again, I have a tendency to go off script, and I start.
Hey, you're giving me some great footage, man. 2 more questions, I'm gonna let you go.
Yeah. Whatever you want to ask, man, please be my guest.
Where do you see people of color in pop culture in general going from this day forward? As you see, there's the hype is really real. Like Sci-Fi just now has a lead black actress for their newest show, Vagrant Queen. You have a lot of black leads coming into and stepping into more sci-fi roles, more superhero roles. Third season of Black Lightning, great show. You know, you see these things are starting to come out more and more. Where do you see it going? Well, I don't know about 2020, but where do you see it going from this point on out?
Well, you know, speaking of which, it's funny. As a cosplayer, one of the other things I forgot to mention, that I'm a DC character for DC Comics.
That's correct. That's correct.
My character, real life character, Freight Train, was a character for DC Comics. This season of Black Lightning, in fact, they bought Freight Train to the show. They just gender swapped and made my character a female character.
Right.
With the name Eric, which I thought was cool. I thought it was very cool. People were like, "Well, aren't you offended?" I'm like, "Why would I be offended?"
It's still paying tribute.
Well, in actuality, and what I find funny is people don't realize that my twin sister's name is Erica Moran. Marvel. So it's a win-win for me.
Right.
So the fact that she's on there, I love it. I mean, I personally love it. And I'm all, you know, no matter what changes, what happens, I'm immortalized in books and comic books. So as far as how do I feel about it? How do I feel about minorities, period, getting more acknowledgement within comic books and sci-fi and pop culture? Here's how I look at it. I think it's awesome, but also it's a flip side to that too. Don't just make a character black because you feel that you want to be politically correct.
Okay.
Let the person's acting ability give them the opportunity to be that character because you feel as an actor or actress that they hold that character well, that they bring that character to life well. Not because they're African American or a woman, but or minority period or a woman or anything of the sort. Do it because you're like, wow, this person, color, female, male, does a good job bringing this character to life. Any kind of political agenda in the backdrop. Because one of the biggest things I noticed is that when you make a character that is typically of the norm, like I'm all down for original characters.
Yeah.
Is down for that. And I have no problem if you decide to say, I want to make Batman black. Well, damn it, have a good reason. Or if you're going to make him black, make sure that the actor is that good enough to keep your mind off the fact that he's African American, but that does a good job, or she does a good job as that said character.
Right.
Whether you're doing an original character, which is cool too, but I like it because I've seen haters that on especially on social media fronts. Well, you gotta make the black character black or woman and political agenda and the SJWs and and I have to say sometimes I don't totally disagree with them to a certain point. If you're going to complain because you made James and you're going to complain because he's black, I have an issue with that. Because if you're going to make James Bond black, I'm cool with that. But make sure that he does a job just as good as any other James Bond has played.
Right.
If it's Idris Elba would be ideal to play.
Yes.
He brings that class, he brings that sophistication to the character. I know he would kill it as James Bond versus bringing Chris Rock to play James Bond.
Right.
Okay, different dynamic.
Totally different.
No, I can see it. And now I will look at y'all sideways like, oh, y'all doing it because he's probably black. You're not doing it because he's an actor. Not saying that Chris Rock ain't funny, but Chris Rock is made for certain films that Chris Rock can play. Granted, we got that Saw film coming out. Chris Rock is showing his acting chops in a more serious manner, which is great. But again, if I was to pick someone today to play the first African American James Bond, Idris Elba, because I know he could do a good job. Again, but people yet it's a tipping stone because it's a balance. It's like, am I gonna make this character like the new Doom film that's coming out?
Right.
Let's talk about Doom. I was a fan of Doom growing up. I loved the premise of what Doom was about, original concept. So they decided to swap one of the characters and make this male character who was Caucasian a black character who's female. Here's the question: can she act? If she can act and do a good job, just as good as the male actor Max von Sydow played, then that's cool. I don't care. Just do a good job being the actor. Do a good job playing that character.
Not only that, it makes sure it fits with the story.
Right.
If it doesn't fit with the story,
thank you.
Then it's
fits
useless.
with the story that anybody could play that character. Okay. Right. It's just like when people use that argument with Black Panther. Well, what if you make Black Panther a white guy? It couldn't fit. It won't fit the
no.
It won't fit the narrative of what Black Panther is. You can argue about it till this cows come home. What if you made Black Panther Asian? It doesn't fit the narrative. That's like saying I'm gonna do Enter the Dragon, and instead of my lead being an Asian character, I'm gonna make him African American.
Okay.
Him Hindu. Or make him Latino. It just wouldn't work. Why? Because it doesn't fit the narrative of what the story is about. Superman, you can manipulate and change the character because he comes from the planet Krypton.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Batman, and we got so many millionaires, billionaires out there. Anybody can do Batman in modern times. Peter Parker, Spider-Man.
Yep.
Anybody can do that. Anybody can do that. Now, if you're going to do Wonder Woman and make him a man, depending on if he's a Greek god or a god from Themyscira, but you have to change the narrative by making them all males on
the island, yeah.
Okay,
yep.
Or you change the narrative where the mother raised the only boy that was ever raised on Themyscira, and you do a whole different dynamic with that and understanding what the story is about. It's a different story. Black Lightning. If you decide to make Black Lightning Caucasian, it changes the narrative of what the whole story of Black Lightning is.
Right.
So, in essence, when people talk about that, I always try to bring it back. And then, like I said, that's a rabbit hole that if you're going to go down that rabbit hole, you better be ready to hang on to that rabbit hole as you're climbing down that rabbit hole, because it's a steep rabbit hole and people tend to just get too oversensitive and too overbearing. Oh my God, he's black or he's white or that. And
right.
Turn around and saying, can this person bring the character to life? Show me. Show me. Look at Star Wars. I mean, come on. I wanted so bad for John Boyega to really expand on his character. I love John Boyega as an actor. I think he's an awesome actor. But they didn't give his character enough growth.
Yeah.
In that 3-ring trilogy. And it's unfortunate because he had the potential of going far. I wanted him to be a Jedi. I mean, they gave off the hints, but why not make him a Jedi?
Yeah.
Gave off all these hints, but you never really expanded on his character.
Right.
A little slightly love triangle that kind of threw it out there in left field. Okay. Again, utilize your characters the right way. Don't put the character in because you just want to change the narrative to say, look, we put some people of color in it. Now shut the hell up.
Right.
Don't just to shut us up. Do it because you're bringing these characters in because you believe in your actor to bring that character to life. And it doesn't matter if the character was black, white, purple, polka dot. And that's the bottom line. That's where it comes down to.
Yeah, I really wanted his character to expand more. I'm like, oh God, I know what they're trying to say, but they're not saying it, you know, and so and it's like just give us another film or some kind of continuation saying, okay, yeah, he's force sensitive. Let's expand on that a little bit, you know. It was there, but they dropped the ball. I love the film, but they dropped the ball when it comes to certain character development. It's like, okay, you didn't have enough time. I understand you got a lot of stuff going on. Maybe it's on the cutting room floor. Who knows? But
it's like Black Manta.
Yeah.
Again, he changed the narrative of originally Black Manta was white back way back in the day, but you changed the narrative as time went on. In the 70s, they made him more, or 80s, they kind of made him African American, which kind of made sense to the character.
Yeah,
he had the hate for Aquaman so much, and the change they made, you were like, okay, I can go with this.
Yeah,
just because they called him Black Manta, but because he really especially his last Aquaman movie. The fact that you got Jason Momoa, who's not typically Caucasian, but you bought
it works.
Aquaman, and he did a damn awesome job playing Aquaman.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Okay, you changed the narrative because you showed that you believe in this actor enough that he can do just as a good job as a Caucasian person could to play Aquaman. Again, I applaud that. That's like playing Captain Marvel. If they gave me the opportunity to play Captain Marvel, I would play the hell out of it.
Yeah.
I had my hair still. Oh my God, I'd play the hell out of it. Because I know what that character, the embodiment of that character is.
Yeah. I mean, it's right back to the 007 thing. And like, everybody was upset. And like, no, they're not saying he's going to be James Bond. They're saying he's going to be 007. You can be, anybody can be 007.
No, they did that actually with the young lady.
Yeah.
I forgot her name. She played as in Captain Marvel as
Monica's mother.
Yeah, Rabot. And the thing is that she's a 007. She's not James Bond, but she's took the mantle of 007.
Exactly.
That was the whole premise. And people were in a frenzy. Ah! Oh my God, it's And I'm looking at all the sites and I'm like, y'all are missing the point.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't lead people to water. I can't lead horses to water.
Right.
You got to be able to have the intelligence enough to figure it out.
Right.
Have that mentality that, oh, okay, I'm smart enough to know that this character, even though they're African American, they're representing this other character, but under a different premise or under a different, sequence. So again, but people don't want to take the time to think. They'd rather have other people think for themselves. So again, not trying to go too deep, getting back on the cosplay realm. Again, that all comes back into play with cosplay.
Yeah.
And that's why when people get on their high horses and say, well, you're cosplaying this character and why, and they're not this and you're not that, and Again, I couldn't care less. I'm having fun cosplaying the character I want to play. I mean, want to cosplay. Get over it. Get over it.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So, this is the final question. Mm-hmm. What's next for Smoke? And you can go ahead and plug whatever you got to plug.
Well, I'm doing so many different things. Right now, I have an ongoing Orville fan film series I just started called Planetary Step. Right now, it's received a really, really, really great positive response. We have executive producers from the Orville that actually follow the work that I do, and they basically support what I'm doing, which is great. And it's really embraced well for a first time doing, not first time, but the first time touching with the world of the Orville, having a lot of fun doing it. Doing that, I'm also working on some future projects that people have been waiting to see me put some closure on. Of course, brand new cosplays, trying to get some more done before this year, con or not.
Yeah.
And of course, we got one of the other top things I'm doing right now. I'm currently on AMC. I made an appearance or two.
Yes. AMC's
Dispatches from Elsewhere. In fact, the next episode comes out on Monday. I believe I'm in that episode or the season finale episode. I also did, earlier last year, I was in 21 Bridges for a brief moment. Did some scenes with Keith David. That was Chadwick Boseman's film. Also, I'm one of the hosts for the video game show, Pass the Controller, that we come on once a month. In fact, will be on this upcoming Saturday night at 7 p.m. with special guests. You could definitely check us out on Facebook on our PTC Gaming Show page on Facebook. And people can follow me on Instagram at The Smoke 007 or YouTube, The Smoke 007, all one word. And on Twitter, I'm The Smoke 000.
Smoke, it is always a pleasure talking to you. Always a pleasure hearing what news you got coming out. Always a pleasure seeing your fan films and your cosplays. You kill it every time. This is Chris G for Blurred's Eye View. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon, Smoke.
Thank you for tuning in. I thank bensound.com for that sweet theme music. Blurred's Eye View can be found on all streaming platforms such as Anchor, Spotify, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. Blurred's Eye View can also be found on the YouTube channel. So subscribe and leave a comment. Let us know what you want to talk about for the next topic or in pop culture so we can review it. We also have a Facebook page and Twitter, so give us a follow on there as well. Until next time, Blurred's Eye View out.